Always do. Let's just say good morning to those of you listening to us on Hits FM 92.1, 91.1 as well. Also, if you're watching us on television on channel 124, that is UTV Underground Television, good morning to you and thank you for spending your morning with us. And we cannot forget on the different social media platforms where we're streaming at this time. Right now, the latest we have now is YouTube, but we've had our old faithfuls like Facebook. I'm not calling you guys old on Facebook. I'm just saying, Facebook's been there for a while. So thank you as always for joining us. And of course, we have Twitter and Twitch and Instagram, all of these other places. And because of, again, the time constraints, I think we need to continue where we left off yesterday. I know we had a discussion, more about, the speculations that have been circulating regarding politics and who's running for where and some of the uncertainties or whatever. But it has come to us on good ground that a certain minister has been told no, that she cannot run again for Castries South. Let's take a look.
Senator Mary Isaac, the recent recipient of the Public Services Long Service Award, was handpicked by the Prime Minister to undertake the affairs in the Health Ministry. That's when the UWP assumed office back in 2016.
I put her to be that minister because she has the greatest empathy of anybody that I know.
Now, Senator Isaac is often on the receiving end of the Prime Minister's praises for her stewardship as Health Minister. However, there is growing uncertainty over Senator Isaac's political future after Castries South voters pressured the UWP Castries South constituency branch to ask for Mary Isaac's withdrawal from the candidate selection process.
Is Mary Isaac going to be contesting the Castries South seat on a UWP ticket at the upcoming general elections?
No, she's not. She won't be.
Simon Seeley, chair of the UWP Castries South constituency branch, explained to NBC Prime the decision to forego Senator Isaac's candidacy was influenced by Castries South voters.
It is unprecedented that we also decide to involve the constituents. So actually, it is a constituency decision along with the branch, and of course, she finds it in the best interest of the party and the people of Castries South.
Wow, so you're saying, in other words, the electorate, the Castries South voters,
yes,
say
voters, that's right.
They did not prefer Mary Isaac.
For all the indications, I'm not saying they did not just prefer her, but Mr. Bertrand Johannes, who have been with the people even a very long time ago, which is years ago, appear to be the most popular in the constituency.
That so-called unprecedented deviation from the UWP's candidate selection process in Castries South paved the way for Bertrand Johannes to secure the nod. Johannes's canvassing capabilities caught the attention of UWP kingmakers during Senator Isaac's losing bid against Labour Party incumbent Dr. Ernest Hilaire in the 2016 race. The next step for Johannes and the UWP Castries South constituency branch will be to get the endorsement from the UWP's National Council. This after a lengthy process filtering through hopefuls, including Buffalo Odlum, Castries Mayor Peterson Francis.
Presently, yes, to take part, that I have withdrawn, and I am giving full attention to the work of the Castries Constituency Council.
And veteran broadcaster Timothy Polio has also dropped out of the Castries South race.
I have withdrawn my interest in elective politics.
Polio has not confirmed or denied speculation linking him with the UWP.
Those individuals, it's clear that should they decide to withdraw or they have withdrawn from the race, it's not because of pressures or whatever. It's truly that we understand that what needs to be done, and they themselves would have understand at this time that the people are asking for one individual, and of course they would do what's in the best interest of not just the party, but the constituency.
The Castries South MP, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, is seemingly unfazed by the UWP's high-profile candidate shortlist.
That's really their business, it's not my business. My platform will be on the basis of the service I've given to the constituency for 4.5 years. It doesn't matter if it's Mary Francis, if it's Butch, or if it is, what's the other one name? Buffalo. Whoever they send, I will respect them and I will deal with them accordingly.
Bertrand Birch Johannes's political ascent in Castries South at present appears to be the final piece to complete the UWP's slate of 17 candidates to contest the upcoming general elections. Rihani Isidore, NBC Prime.
So like we discussed yesterday, that is what the speculation was, and now we're seeing that people said no to Mary. Wah, wah, wah. These are the things, I guess, that you have to be prepared for in politics. So now it's going to be this Birch Big Daddy, the poster that we put on yesterday. So I guess that's where we are. But it also says to me, too, that it doesn't matter, and I hear that what I understand is that the Prime Minister wanted Mary Isaac, and we've seen him say that, the reason why he chose her as health minister is because she had empathy and she is so great at her job. And we've seen other people like Sarah Flood Bobre and others try to give her the confidence or try to show that they have confidence in her abilities, but that clearly didn't work for members of their own constituency group in Castries South. So I guess that's saying something. So, we're just there to see what's going on next. And I think too, even when we discussed that yesterday, with all of the speculation going on in the SLP and what's happening with them, there's also uncertainty happening with the other faction too. And yes, it is very important that we have these discussions, because we have well realized that even if a candidate has lost, as Mary Isaac did, she has the potential, if a party wins, just like she did, for any other person to get to be minister just because of an affiliation, just as a sort of favor for, putting your name forward and, contesting a seat. So it is important that we look at the candidates going up for both parties, because they could be our future leaders, our future ministers. Now, with that, we'll put a pin in that, but I think also a new development that's going on is with the farmers. But to get into it, I think we need to look at our recent history and see how they were treated in the midst of, the COVID environment there. When they needed some assistance, they were told otherwise.
And here's the question. Should we allow the price at the pump to go down to reflect the global prices? Or should we leave it at the level because we know at some point those prices are going to come back up?
You're driving from Vieux-Fort to Castries with 10 people on a bus. When you measure how much money you have, how much gas you burn, 40, 60 gas to go Vieux-Fort. All that the government have to check on that, bring down the gas a little bit. So then it will help us on the way. The ministers, they have a man gas, your salary big all the time, and they are the one who live in good, and we still in, and we under pressure, and they live in good.
Yes, if you brought it down, given the economic crisis, that it could potentially help people. But at the same time, we want people to slow down. So maybe keeping the prices higher would help us doing that. So what my government is contemplating, and again, Cabinet has not made this decision as yet, but should we put on an additional excise tax? That money, we know that $2.50 of the excise tax has been going to the general coffer. We know that the $1.50 has been going specifically to the roads, and whatever we want to keep on addition to that will go specifically to healthcare.
Fishers will not be getting any breaks on the cost of fuel. This was revealed by Prime Minister Alan Chastanet Tuesday when questions were posed to him on the need for economic stimulus as a result of COVID-19. Senior political correspondent Miguel Favre was among the Parliament press corps and filed this report.
Up until the last fuel price adjustment, government continued to collect more than the $4 excise tax per gallon of fuel. Even as prices dropped, consumers in some cases have been paying close to $2 on the gallon, more than they are supposed to. When the excise tax was increased by 60% from $2.50 to $4 in 2017, the rationale put forward by both Prime Minister Alan Chastanet and Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph was that the extra $1.50 would be placed in a lockbox for use towards much-needed repair of the island's road network. But even before minibus operators called for a rebate on fuel as a result of severe revenue loss imposed by COVID-19 social distancing protocols, calls have been made for the island's fishers to get a break on fuel costs. And Alan Chastanet says,
no.
And the reason?
There's been it's not to fishers. We have a gas tax that's on that everyone's been contributing to. And, you know, I've heard the argument with regards to the fishermen. I'm very sympathetic to what that they're saying. But the reality is they use the roads like everybody else.
The average St. Lucian pelagic fisher uses approximately 45 gallons of gasoline per day. Average trips per week, 4. The new dispensation of the Fish Marketing Corporation, more so in light of COVID, has been purchasing less from the fishers. They in turn have resorted to traversing the island in search of sales. Additional fuel consumed.
This is where the monies have been going to and help to improve their distribution of the fish when they catch them. But certainly we are doing a lot more of other things to be able to help the fishermen out.
Now, based on what was in the estimates, the government was saying that they were going to be putting aside $24.2 million, and they were hoping to get that money from the Export-Import Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Now, remember that loan is a loan which has not yet even, as far as I know, has not even been requested as yet. If it has been requested, very well. It certainly has not been approved. It certainly has not gone to the House of Assembly or the Parliament for a resolution for borrowing. That hasn't happened, but it's in the budget on page 588 if you want to check it out for yourself. And that, if you use the calculation, $24.2 million and $1,500 per person, that would mean we would be seeing somewhere around 16,100 beneficiaries through that program. Now, if you go to the website and you read who are the target groups for that program, it actually says, quote, persons or entities who generated income as offshoot service providers of the tourism industry, taxi drivers, jet ski operators, vendors, beach, craft, and provision market vendors, farmers or agro-processors, tour guide operators, dive instructors, hairdressers, small bar, restaurant owners, artists, and entertainers, end quote. That was effectively who was supposed to be getting that assistance, right? And that fund, by the way, was originally supposed to have been managed by the National Insurance Corporation. That's what I believe we were told back in April this year by the Prime Minister. But it seems that plans have changed. It seems as if it is now going to be, or is in fact being managed directly by the government of St. Lucia, not by the NIC.
According to farmers who gathered at the Ministry of Agriculture on Tuesday morning, prior to applying for the Agricultural Support Program, they were led to believe that this assistance would have come in the form of a one-time cash payment of $1,500. However, once they arrived at the ministry that morning, they were informed that a decision was made to supply them with agro-products such as seedlings and fertilizer. That was unwelcomed news, to say the least.
Then I came here because my field officer brought me this form saying that we're going to get money from that stimulus package. And now they're calling us in a meeting. I've been here for 3 hours now, just sitting upstairs. I heard different things going on. Now they're saying it's seedlings they promise us and not cash. When so many farmers has come here, wasted their time, sitting all last week, and now they're saying it's seedlings and it's not cash. So I'm still there listening, but then my field officer never said it was seedlings. They said it was $1,500 for farmers in the stimulus package because of the COVID thing.
Madame a parlé à ce sujet de agriculture, yo moun mal comprendre situation, that yo ka bay tout moun anti la monnaie, mais Jean agriculture yo pa ka bay yo rien, c'est grain yo ka bay yo, et puis la pani justice, et puis la ni Jean agriculture qui dit comme ça, that moun ha attraper koyo, joindre l'argent, yo joindre anti-funds. Ça moi vraiment de yo, est-ce moun kay ça fait agriculture sans la monnaie? Ou bay tout monde te en bas corona, tout le monde souffert, farmers souffert, yo qui souffert pli en pays a. C'est yo qui kat bay moun manger avec bret. Ou pas ka bay yo l'argent. Et puis ou vle bay yo gwen, qui manière yo kay ça payer moun? Est-ce yo kay ça sustain agriculture? C'est moun ça c'est pas piche yo ka faire yo ni pour me koyo bien et puis respecter farmers avec ban nous ça qui sont nous. Because la nya chay bay kay vini.
Director of Implementation in the office of the Prime Minister, Nancy Charles, soon descended into the crowd in an effort to ease growing tensions. However, Charles's account of the matter differed greatly from that of the farmers. leading to a back and forth between these parties. She explained that the farmers were seemingly misled as to what program they should apply for.
Apparently there has been some miscommunication where some farmers were informed that they would qualify under the income support program.
And this is why I say good evening and welcome to another edition of Matter of Fact. Good evening, good evening, good evening. The reasoning. Là où il dit un femme OK où il bail ça il brisé pour y faire OK il bail aussi gwenna yo il bail yo c'est sel matio yo brisé. Qui ça qui catchil là derrière ça? Qui catch le gouvernement là il dit OK plutôt pour nous ba l'argent sec là nous ka ba matio qui catch là attention c'est qui ça? What exactly is the intention?
Well, the intention is to make sure that when you give you the support, you go back into production.
Right.
Cooks, very few of us can manage money.
Okay.
And our phrase, "Mun ba mal to ale, mun ka mal dépasser." That's my phrase.
Right.
Because tout moun ka travailler quand là, là ni moun ka plus go là passer ça qui on look at what accomplishment. Moun na ki ven plus moins ka faire plus meilleur because moun sa ka manager là. Okay. And that's what's important. And we believe, based on our experiences, it'll be more to the benefit of the individuals and the country to give you the inputs to put back into agriculture. Now, si mundi you probably sell, you probably go in, so be it. We're not forcing anybody to come forward and take support.
Without a little funds, we can do agriculture. So we are the last. When they had coronavirus, who everybody was depending, nothing wasn't being imported. We were imported, now we're the last. We only deserve seeds and fertilizer. Everybody going home. You will behave yourself. You will behave yourself.
When you're looking at in the complete disrespect and you're seeing how the fishermen, the bus drivers and the farmers were treated in all of that. And like I've said before, people will forget what you say and maybe what you did, but I don't think they will forget how you made them feel. And I wonder, when you're a farmer sitting there and watching Nancy, you know, tilt her head, nod and smile as you are sharing your frustration to her and saying that, you know, you need the help and how are you not important. She is looking at you, like as you were a Sevelila, but you know, smile and nod, and then go back to your office while you now have to go back and struggle. And to this day, they have not been given any sort of real financial assistance. And when you say that, you know, it was a miscommunication, as if you are dumb and you didn't understand what was being said. You were supposed to get $1,500, and that's to the farmers. You were supposed to get that. They tell you, no, you misheard. And now they have to give you Gwen and whatever else, like Matuyo. That is not what is needed. And even now, you continue to see that disrespect. When you see your Minister of Agriculture, also a farmer, says people don't know how to spend $1,500. How do you think? I wonder, and I expect, you know, to get calls of farmers to tell me how you felt when you heard that. You're a grown man, a grown woman, you build in your house, you have your children, you have your responsibilities, and somebody telling you don't know how to deal with money because munka mal travail, ek mal dépensé. And people will take that. We will take that and pretend that everything is okay. That is so wrong. And now, you know, maybe as some time has passed on it, and people maybe they have selective amnesia, you've forgotten. But when you look at that again, don't you feel any kind of way? We'll take a look now at what some people, mostly vendors and farmers themselves, had to say about the stimulus and the lack of stimulus, and instead, you know, getting the seeds and everything else instead of the money that you need.
But to me, if they have a takada for the farmers and they're giving them sell, give them both of them. Give them both the money and the sell to buy one time. Because the farmers need the money and they need the salt. There are people working for them. No money, so just give them the salt and give them the money. Because the amount of salt they will give them, the money they have there, they won't give them all that salt for $1,500. Buy semunala to vole.
that the epidemic that is going on now. I mean, if the government give the farmers at least the $1,500, because everybody have the children to support those going back to school. You know, I think the $1,500 is better to give the farmers the $1,500 in their hands.
Moi, c'est pharmacie, c'est l'argent yo vle ba yo l'argent yo. C'est mon argent ni gwen yo ba bouger gwen c'est l'argent yo bouger. Yo issue pour voir l'école, yo bouger ba needs. Si yo han gwen yo ba sa vie accepter gwen encore.
Give the people the money. Okay. I think they should give the people the money because school closed and people have their books to buy, and look now they put on the book list each child must have a tablet, so give the farmers the money.
Uma de ma se bayo la yo be fertilizer bayo la argent yo buizen pour faire affaire yo ba isho ba madame yo maman la ni pour aller l'école bayo yale.
Mais content moun ka gade mwen di mwen yo ka ban porte ice cream vie pour un porte ice cream, ça pas faire pièce science. Bay farmer la yo pour yo ça move to the next level.
Give the farmers the money.
The eating them are going to make me laugh. But, you know, you're hearing people say that, and it doesn't take any, you know, sort of degree or anything to just know that it is common sense. People have their bills, you have things to do, you need the money in your hand. Me ukabay moun gwen. Zopli buze gwen akaisa pour di chasse sa ka fe ya pa bon. Gwen za zo buze. Do not, like, you know, stop telling people, stop disrespecting people. And you know what's more? Can we stop accepting it? This has been months now. Nothing has been given. And I find too that many of the farmers are silent in all of this. Months have gone on and we don't know exactly where you guys are. How are you surviving? What is going on? And even now when you see all the construction, you're seeing things going on. What is being done to assist the farmers? The disrespect, telling people you cannot deal with money, so don't give them money, give them the things instead. We're going to take that. Jaderi Souls, Bemse Muna, Shasni representing you. How does that make you feel? In Babuno, there too, it's a large farming community. And Ezekiel himself a farmer. Saukadimun. You know what, but we're going to stay on that because there are new developments here where the Minister of Agriculture has posited some suggestions on how the NFTO, the National Farmers Traders Organization, can be helped because they, you know, they need the money, the farmers need the money owed to them by government. But Ezekiel is saying that he can only give the money on one condition.
This, we decided as a government, whilst we are giving some serious financial support, apart from the 13 million we are pumping into the industry directly, we have given some support to the NFTO through assisting them in paying off the farmers, in fact to the tune of 2.4 million EC dollars. And each time things goes bad, it's of course the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Agriculture, they look forward to bailing them out. We spoke with them and we said, look, there's need for us to really restructure the NFTO, restructure the industry, because we don't have a Winfresh UK, unfortunately. And of course, Mr. Speaker, they agreed, when I say they, the NFTO agreed, with the support of government, to hire a consultant, to look at the industry, and to come up with options and recommendations how we, and I say we, the government and the NFTO, and the farmers, by extension, can work together in a restructured environment. The consultant came up with 3 options, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say in this Honorable House, the options that was presented to us, the ministry and government, the farmers were involved in it. The farmers were part and parcel of the committee. They were consulted. And the options that came up were, one, that government take over the banana industry. Again, that's option number 1. Option number 1, consultant l'a dit, that gouvernement vie point fig là. C'est ça farmers dit. C'est ça farmers dit consultant là. Quitter gouvernement vie point fig là parce qu'il y a pas de pièce confiance et puis ça NFTO qu'a fait. No confidence in the NFTO. The second option, Mr. Speaker, was for government to go into a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, between the NFTO and government to manage the banana industry or to manage the NFTO for a period of 2 years. Complete control by government. Option number 2, c'est pour le gouvernement entre l'agreement et puis farmers, et puis pour le gouvernement manager NFTO pour 2 années. And the third option, Mr. Speaker, troisième option dans le vigné PIA, c'est pour le gouvernement acheter 51% shares of the NFTO. So all the options, Mr. Speaker, speak to government control. We met with the NFTO executive, that's the Ministry of Agriculture, and the consultants, and I invited farmers who are not part and parcel of the executive of the NFTO to discuss these recommendations moving forward, Mr. Speaker. And I made it clear that my cabinet and my prime minister and this government had no interest in taking over the banana industry. We made it clear to them. But we told them that we want to have some input into how things have been done in this new dispensation and what we agreed with. Let's see how we can cut and paste the recommendations and come up with a recommendation that we are comfortable with. And of course, we agreed to review the board of the NFTO and to have a 7-member board, 4 members from the NFTO and 3 members from government. So ça nous d'accord. Nous d'accord that nous avons couper à sous number of moun qui est board NFTO. Et puis NFTO a 4 membres. Et puis le gouvernement a 3 membres à la board là. That was agreed by the NFTO. And for us to accomplish this, Mr. Speaker, we had to amend the bylaws. Mr. Speaker, what we agreed also was for us to look at how the NFTO would be responsible for the chairmanship of the new board. And I'm referring to, Mr. Speaker, the BIP, the Banana Enhancement Productivity Project. That is what I'm dealing with, bananas. That's what I'm dealing with, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker.
So you have the agriculture minister saying that the NFTO is in problems, and what the government is saying, the government wants to take control. For control fig up a year, because they would be able to assist in the way that is needed to make it more financially viable. But in all of that, and it sounds nice, but then again you hear they had to hire another consultant, and the consultant told them that the best thing to do would be for government to take it over. Take it over. The only option is, either for 2 years or, for a longer period, but it needs government control. But the NFTO president instead had this to say.
The National Fair Trade Organization says while banana farmers are growing increasingly frustrated, the government remains insistent on holding them to ransom. According to NFTO Chair Eustace Monrose, the organization is owed in excess of $5 million by Winfresh and by extension the government as a major shareholder of the collapsed entity. However, while the NFTO has requested government assistance to guarantee a loan needed to pay farmers, the government appears unwilling to relent over its previous demand to take over the reins of the NFTO. This was made clear at a recent meeting.
That was a meeting requested from us, that is the National Fair Trade, since on the 4th of February. He had not seen it fit not until yesterday, the 25th of March, to have one such meeting with us. At this meeting, we went in with high hopes, expecting the best, because we heard the minister making pronouncement in Parliament, saying that Cabinet had agreed to give the guarantee to the NFTO. But on arrival, during the meeting, the minister explained that Cabinet will not give that guarantee unless they get the chair of the NFTO. That was indeed very disturbing, because I first had made a few points indicating the destitute position that the NFTO and the farmers of this country have found themselves. We are now owing farmers in excess of $500,000. That is for payment for bananas sold to the UK. We have not been able to pay them. It's over 5 weeks that they have not been paid.
Monroe says the organization also owes large sums of money to employees and creditors. While the government's ultimatum to the NFTO has been in the air for months, NFTO delegates previously thought the matter had been put to rest after they voted against the government's request.
But he's still insisting that Cabinet says that they want the chair. Now, this is interfering with democratic processes. But they want to force us and to compel us to do what we were not interested in doing. Government has 2 directors on Winfresh board, and right under the noses, Winfresh went down. So why is it that you want to be the chair of the National Fair Trade, only for it to go down too? That is what we know and we understand. This is why the farmers are standing so hard. But now that you're squeezing the farmers, you're holding the farmers to ransom, you refuse to give either an advance on the amounts owed to us, or even to facilitate by way of a guarantee. Listen, this is something that we cannot bear. This is evil in my view.
The NFTO says while the government continues to hold out on this much-needed support, farmers are suffering.
And one farmer complained to me saying that she has commitments to courts and other places around, and she cannot pay. And she's screaming. She said she needs to get paid. So government is compelling, forcing us to our knees so that they can get what they want. I do not believe that this is right. This is immoral, and I'm hoping that government can have sense, and good sense will prevail, and they will do what they have to do in terms of just giving us this guarantee if they are unable to give us an advance on the monies owed to us by them. And this is what we're requesting and demanding from government, that they should attend to this. Do not allow your people to suffer.
We understand that agitated farmers may soon engage in small pockets of protest action. For Choice News Now, Amani Matre reporting.
I think there we can understand the MO of this government. By Martinique by force. And then you was trying to say, I remember Ezekiel saying, oh no, that's not what he said. He didn't say that, he said something else. People believed in, and you cannot deny that, people believed in the promises made by this administration. People cut down and plant more banana plants and everything. And now you're going to look at them and say, you won't give them the $1.9 million that they need to pay their debts and everything else unless they give you a position as the chair. You want a government person in the NFTO as the chairperson, or else they're not getting the money. But then that is how these people, this administration has worked with people. That is how you treat people. And we've seen that for the past 4 years there. And I feel like we haven't seen and we haven't heard enough from the farmers. And I understand too that the president is saying, people calling him, farmers saying they pay courts yet, they need to get things for their children. Take to the streets too. And I think we all need to be together and give them the support that they need as well. You cannot tell me, Ezekiel and all of y'all there, that that is how you're going to treat people when you say, and I think one of the farmers rightfully said it, that in the midst of COVID, they were the backbone of the recovery effort because nothing was coming in, no imports, so they have to feed the country. But now, you want to do virtual carnival, bring in cruise ships, do all kinds of things, and the farmers still need the help. It will be a year and they cannot get the financial support. How can that be right? Ezekiel, you also get the benefits when farmers get it too. You're working for yourself too, at least. I don't understand how these people thinking, even if you're going to do, you know, I hate to say this, but if you're going to do what you're doing, make sure that people get the money too. You're going to tell Taiwan that you need how much millions of dollars and you don't want to give them money, you pass some money, put it for say $1 million. Ukisav. Listen, I just think that this is wrong. Stop strong-arming people people in need, and not just the individual, because you see how they're doing it to individual solutions, but an entire organization. If you do not give them the leadership that they're asking for, they're not going to give you the money. You will not survive. Miss Lady that I have to pay the courts, she can't pay it. You have to feed your children, you cannot pay it because they want the leadership of the NFTO. It's wrong. And I want to know what members of the NFTU, what farmers themselves are thinking. I've heard the president, but we also need to hear what they're thinking as well. What do you think as well? And I expect to get calls on that where, you know, something of what we're going to do with this. I don't know. Every single time there's just more. And Ezekiel, you should be ashamed of yourself for the promises that you've made to farmers. People who wanted a difference, people who wanted a change, they wanted something and they believed in you, and this is how you treat them. We'll be right back.
I can't stay.
Sel bagay driver, pas de bout bay no sala eh. Yo ka pon vie bagay COVID sa, sort l'hôpital la ko yo katay, et yo ka mene yo commune la ba moun.
Them people not supposed to be boarding Simbasi first. You never know what they have.
If that nurse board the bus, I going down.
Madam, think before you speak. These are the same people who take care of us. All of us. They have their own families to go back to. And still, they put themselves on the front line for us. And you want to discriminate against them? Awa. Not on my bus. I just card with hey. You making me finish all my good English on you?
Good morning.
My lady, thank you so much for all the sacrifices you all make. Together, we must win this war.
La vaccine COVID-19 Saint-Lissi, ekse pou moun ki an l'âge 18 l'année et moutan, moun ki ka travay a département santé ki wiskab, dokter, nos, polis, pompier, moun ki ni pisadou, kanser, batman chè, Tresha, l'oppression, epi moun ki an l'âge 65 l'année et moutan. Ou pani pou paye pou la vaccine, epi yo pa ka oblige ou point. Registration sa fait online an tout health center ek epi dokter privé. Vacciné pour ou, pour ça ou, et puis pour nous.
Live a fairly normal life and open up a little bit more. We're working with a number of organizations to continue and to get back to a level of normalcy. We want to be able to continue that in the coming months.
Right, folks, just to add to what Doc is saying there, I'm going to read again the new curfew times for the upcoming Easter weekend. But of course, we must follow the protocols. We must do what we have to do. In fact, these new curfew times, the government will tell you, their excuse or their explanation will be, it is because of what we have not been doing and the things we are doing we ought not to be doing, that they have reacted to those. I understand at Pigeon Island or Pigeon Point over the weekend was even worse than a normal day, that there were hundreds of people there. I'm seeing events, and the government too must lead by example. The government cannot expect us to follow protocols that itself is not following. This event in Dennery ought not to have happened, at least not at the time it was happening. Contact sports are not acceptable, yet there was a football match. So let us do the right thing, all of us. And to repeat the change in curfew times, Thursday, April 1st and Friday, April 2nd, the curfew is 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. On Saturday, April 3rd, 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Sunday, April 4th, and Monday, April 5th, 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. So especially the Catholic Church, and I certainly would, before tomorrow, I'll try to send it to Monsignor Francis and the rest of them, because it would impact the church services on Easter Sunday.
Now, this we are seeing the CMO, who we haven't seen in a while at all, but right there on Claudius Francis' show last evening, giving us an update to the nation as to what we are to adhere to this coming weekend. And like I have said before, and I think some other people have said, and I think other members of the media fraternity, doing this and going to different shows with things that are of public importance, national importance, you cannot, and I mean it when I say to Sky FM, it's not good on Sky FM either, it's not good on any of the talk show hosts. Why can it not be on NTN as it should be, Miss CMO, and to the others who make these pronouncements of national import and continue to put it on programs that have, you know, differing viewership? Who's to say, and you can say that too, because I've heard some of the hacks say, so when it's on Sky FM, you'll have a problem with it. Now that it's on a, you know, an SLP sort of talk show, you have a problem with it still. Yes, I have a problem with it. It needs to be a national, something of national importance without any kind of side, everybody watching for information on what they're doing next. I don't understand why we cannot get that. Why does the CMO keep doing that? And this is not the first time. If we remember, this was done as well, which was a huge issue for some people mid-2020. Let's take a look.
Russell, keep in mind that you have competing media houses, okay? You have competing media houses, right? And everybody wants to get the scoop. Normally, I'm saying she would have had the opportunity to go to GIS, because that came out yesterday evening. If you got that between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock or somewhere around there, she could have gone to GIS, had that recorded, and sent to all the media houses.
Andre, we don't know when this communique was given, and I'm not going to speculate as
well.
What I was not speculating about is the health of the country and the edge and the scope.
But listen to that. Listen to that. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. When you have this thing on one media house, you have a certain group of individuals who are watching or listening at that time. It doesn't mean everybody's watching or listening. Tale, right? Because people like me, for example, right? In my ignorance, I said it must be fake news. That's exactly what I said to the person. I said, don't trust these things, because what I read this evening was that results will be on Friday. That's what I read.
It's not about you.
So I'm saying
it's about us.
Well. So we thought that, you know, this disclosure would have been just another disclosure. We've accepted it as a fact. News just coming to hand. The disclosure coming from person of authority, chief medical officer, and that would just be it. But we find ourselves immersed in a controversy that is so unnecessary. Broadcasters saying things like giving edge to another station. Broadcasters on HTS must not make reference to DBS. Again, I must make reference to the United States. Panel discussion takes place on CBS, and the panelists continue to make reference to the other networks. The president said this on Fox, and the president said this on CNN, on the BBC, etc. Let us grow up. And it puts other stations at a disadvantage. You have a competing media houses, and take that information to the Government Information Service, which will then transfer the information to other media houses, and all the time the people are waiting The people are waiting. So you see why we're not getting anywhere as far as our development is concerned in various areas. If I have my way, I will upend the media landscape in St. Lucia. Just wait. You will see.
So in all of this, and that was the debate last year, and that was circulating around two people in Sufra. I don't know if you guys remember, and they were showing symptoms of COVID, and they took a bus, and you know, all that sort of thing happening. And the CMO, what she said she knew at 6:45, she told the staff at VH, but waited until 8:30 to say it on Timothy's show. What I am saying, and other right-thinking people are saying, is that this should be on a station, on a network that is NTN. That is what it is there for. Stop saying that, you know, you could put it on any station. That's not how you do things. It's crazy that people, and even last night, some people on Twitter saying, no, that's not true. You know, it's crazy because people didn't watch that show. They did not know. But if we were told that there would be an update on NTN, the whole country would be watching, and we would have more of an idea what we're doing. Instead, once again, we're governing by confusion. So some people know, some people don't know. It's insane. But anyway, we look to the Prime Minister's page as well. So we saw that there on Instagram. From the Prime Minister's page, saying this is what we have to deal with from Wednesday, that is tomorrow. It'll be the same at 9 p.m. On Thursday, it will be from 4 to 7, 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday, you'll stop at 7 p.m. as well. On Saturday, it's from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Sunday, ale homo toise après midi. That is when everything's shutting down. That is when, you know, oh my God. Monday, April, it remains the same at 3 p.m. Toise. And then it's supposed to go back on Tuesday. So this is where we are, that we're making these drastic changes, and we're just trying to see who can get it and who learns or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to think, because I too am confused. We'll open the lines and we'll take some calls at 572-7588. And while we do so, let us also remember, and let's take ourselves back to when NTN, where it's supposed to be all the facts, they too were telling us to listen to them and not to anyone else.
Overnight, growing national unrest.
Society, a digital cashless society, one world currency.
A vaccine for COVID-19.
Droplets
COVID
virus. Macy's iconic flagship.
Track the coronavirus. Everybody vaccinated on the corona pandemic.
The lockdown.
An infected conspiracy theories
about the coronavirus. 5G. The truth about the origin of COVID-19 hidden from the rest of the world. And the Chinese.
In this constantly changing environment, resulting in sensory overload, cut through the noise and tune in to the National Television Network, the official source of information, all facts.
Let's take the call. Good morning.
Morning, Tresha.
Good morning, sir.
Tresha, two things quickly. The very first that Trump dealt with was this situation in Caspi South, where there were several candidates, UWP candidates, vying to run the Caspi South seat. Now, Tresha, look, I really don't know what is going on. I really don't know whether our people are asleep. I really don't know whether our people have become so used to the type of corruption under this government that they don't care. They're willing to run for the United Workers Party, even if they know of what is happening under this government. Now, right away, that gives you an indication of the mindset of those people, that they would be willing, if this government gets back into office, that they would be willing either A, to close their eyes to the corruption, to the continued corruption of this government, B, to participate in the corruption themselves, or C, facilitate the corruption by those who are already in it under this government. You know, this is absolutely crazy, you know, Tresha, and that is why I keep saying that those people, those of us who are concerned about what is happening in St. Lucia, and I'm not talking about those hardline UWP people who, regardless of what, they'll continue to vote for the UWP. I'm talking about those reasonable people who support the UWP, who figure, look, that the country is more important than support of the United Workers' Party, that they don't like what is going on, they're unhappy with what is going on, and to rescue the country, they're going to make a difference. To those people who are not affiliated to any party, that they are going to come out and do the right thing when the elections are held to get rid of this corrupt, incompetent regime. 2, Tresha, somebody told me that Yadi had a letter, Yadi and Jaime had a letter that they wanted to read on their show concerning some concerns that the police had, which they had communicated to the Prime Minister. And they were told that because the letter was a private letter to the Prime Minister, they couldn't air the police concerns. Tresha, this is rubbish. This is absolute rubbish. Tresha, look, police who are responsible for law and order have certain concerns in terms of the actions or inactions of the Prime Minister, as those actions or inactions pertain to the police, because those actions or inactions might affect their ability to do their job. It is the public's right to know. Because
and if your public, if they don't want to do it, tell them send it for me. I'll do it for them.
Exactly, because if the police are going to be affected in such a way as it's going to, what happen is that this will affect on the job that they do in terms of the general public. The general public will be affected adversely.
Yeah.
So it is the general public's right to know whether the police have concerns with the Prime Minister
and what they are
or inactions sufficient to cause them worry, sufficient to cause them stress. And you know, once they have worry, once they have stress, that stress is going to filter to the public.
Exactly.
So we need to know. So this foolishness about, you know, this letter is you know, private. You know, it shouldn't be aired. And I strongly urge members of the press to get a copy of that letter so they could make it public. Thanks, Tresha.
Thank you very much, sir. As always, very quickly, let's take the other one. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Tresha.
Hi, or good afternoon, rather. Hi.
Yeah, my thing is, I am still waiting for Alan Shastney to sign up the people from to America without a visa. Because Alan Shastney promised...
Your bags were packed already?
Yes, I'll sign up people. Yeah, I waiting still like this, waiting, you know, I want to go to America because I waiting for the thing. But I want to know too, how many supporters of Alan Shastney that have received that letter for to go to America without a visa? You are telling you? Some of them supporters, they are thinking, you have to think about what I'm saying and listen to what I'm saying. You will see that man is a corrupt man and here for. So at the same time between them, him and his cabal have to go. And last thing, you see guy touched up the money already. Guy touched up the money, so he thinks he's the best thing in St. Lucia. But don't worry, the people waiting for him. Thank you.
Caller, thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's what we really do things with ourselves, so true. That you'll believe it, you're going... Let's take the other one then. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon, Tresha.
Hi, you are our last caller. And
Tresha,
we are over time. Let's go.
I know I had to be shorter, but I want to ask you, I mean, not you, but on behalf of the young people of Beaufort South, we want to know.
Not me? That's how you mean?
What became of the promise to give us a beach soccer facility in the region of the multipurpose court there, your home, the promenade type place there, opposite Eldridge Stevens' home, what became of that promise? They came with plans, grandiose plans to give us a beach soccer facility. So we want to know if we're going to get that before election. That is one. And since we pressed for time, Tresha, I want to ask you, why are we allowing one white man, yes, he's a white man running a black country, why are we allowing him the ultimate authority to dictate our path? So wait, did COVID have a conversation or a conference with Alan Chasney to tell him that's about, I go give a break around 7 p.m. or I go give a break around 9 p.m. or I go give a break for 3 p.m. when it's Easter, I ain't taking no chances? Is that what is going on here? And are we going to sit back and allow Alan Chasney to tell us what we can do in our own country? We were born here, bred here, went to school here, products of here. And Alan Chasney, a product of wherever he come from, proud to say he's a product of Canada, can come and tell me in my sweet St. Lucia what I can do? And it's because he's not expecting a spike in numbers, or because there were people by the beach, or because wait. What's going on there? Tresha, I'm going to lower my pressure. But Tresha, I want my people to stand up against this nonsense. Because Tresha, you see me? What we waiting for? I done ready already. I buy the road already. Okay? I have flowers that red. As usual, we had that red. So make sure we make a statement to Alan Chasney that we are tired of his nonsense. I pacify the wood. Bye-bye, Tresha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. You know what, let's take a look at the other image here, because I think it is a concern for many people. And we have seen that for Easter, it's a lot. It's for people to really have to go through that sort of uncertainty, and more than that, having a prime minister, having this administration, having the CMO and other health officials speak about having protocols when we have seen beaches packed and nothing for that, but you're going to say over the weekend you're going to stop people at 3 p.m. and you're going to do it at 7 p.m. and then again at 6 and have different days. While you still have things happening in Dennery, when you want to have your jump up and have your steel pan playing and have UWP supporters right there on the Dennery field having fun to it and meeting, and then you have other activities where UWP hacks can get together, maybe they go to church or maybe they're making a music video. We've seen all of these things happen. And yet you're telling us that no, some people can't even go to the beach on Easter because you're worried about COVID. I think we are in a serious time where we have to understand where, what it is we're going to be doing, and whether we're going to continue to abide by some of the protocols that are being, made for certain people, and others, get arrested for less, while others can just go and do what they want with no repercussions at all. I think it really is a sad time for us in St. Lucia. And I continue to say, and I will continue to advocate for more open discussions, real press conferences, press releases, instead of going to different talk shows, no matter what they are, whether they lean towards UWP or SLP. What is right and what's wrong is wrong, and you need to say where it is. So the CMO, let's have an update like we should do on NTN, instead of playing this game. This is important. We should not be playing politics with something this important. You know what, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank all of you for joining us as always. We hopefully will see you same time and place, to discuss more of the issues. But until then, have a good one.
I can't stay.